Alright, greetings everyone. Today we are going to be doing a special video this weekend. Now, normally on the weekend we do team building, but there isn't that much to talk about team building this week. Basically, if you want to see what's been going on JP, just look at the previous week because that is pretty good at explaining what JP is currently like for meta and team building. There's a little bit different, maybe some new strategies evolving. But today I wanted to do a video about farming fire Veritas metals and talking about what I have discovered for the last few days so that people do not make the same mistakes that I have. So let's just take a peek. So Flame Veritas is in the game in JP, and he was actually started to be able to obtain metals the following day after the update, which is, not too terrible. It's better than some of the other Veritases. As for the exchange rate, it is generally better as opposed to Earth Veritas, which requires 200 coins to unlock and is a 1 shard per every 2 metals, which is a little ridiculous with the amount of guild stuff that gets canceled on a regular basis. Here, Fire Veritas is 120 and is 1 per 1 shard, which is, more friendly. So let's talk about how you get these. As you can see, I've gotten about 21 so far, and part of that was doing research for you guys. You are welcome. So first off, if you are going to be doing it, you're going to be doing it in the actual duels, not arena section. That's where you get Water Veritas. But over here, you are going to be playing against in this middle tab to go and get Fire Veritas shards. You may be wondering why I have Kitune in the party. We'll talk about that in a second. So here, this for, you essentially set it up. If you are looking, if you've never used this before, this is how you get PvP medals. And you can go into here, whether you want to do it auto, whether you want to do it, I think it's like matching versus your auto settings or whatever, to try and find partners. It's pretty much what it is kind of thing. And essentially it does have its own rules, and you should make a team that essentially follows it, because if you don't, yeah, it could end up losing because of map effects. So all of that is something to very much remember. Now, let's get down to brass tacks about actual farming it. It works in a very similar way to how you do Water Veritas in Arena, where every day you can do 5 matches in Arena and you will get 5 Water Veritas coins. Now, at the end of the week with Water Veritas, this is different from Fire Veritas. You, depending on your overall placement, you will get a certain number of medals put towards, Water Veritas or shards or whatever. Now, Fire Veritas works a little bit different. In this middle section, you are able to do 5 matches per day, and from those 5 matches, you can get 3 coins per match. Now, listen very carefully, because what I'm about to explain is very important so you don't make the same mistakes I did. Although, more mistakes in the way of testing. From everything that I've been able to tell, at least for the immediate part, not limited time stuff, or limited arena or any class match or anything like that, or sorry, not arena, for this PvP section, this doesn't seem to matter whether you win or lose. I was running a win streak for a little bit and only getting 3 coins regardless. As for losing, I was still getting 3 coins per loss, up to 5 times per day. So it actually doesn't matter if you win or lose, you still get the 3 coins per. Now, this is what's really important. Unlike Arena, which has a skip button, this section does not. It essentially does have to play out. If you disconnect, if you close the app, if you do anything like rage quitting or anything like that, basically it counts as a loss, but you will not get your coins. And here's the next really important part to note, is that if you do this, you will also not get your coins per day for one of your matches. So for instance, if you have 4 matches where you see it all the way to the end, good for you. That's 12 coins right there. If on your 5th one you get disconnected and you have to reload into the app, as far as I can tell, it does not count it, and those are gone forever. You will never, ever, ever get those back. So depending on the stability of the application, Quotive, you may or may not want to play this on emulator. You may need to play this on phone and in an area with decent connection. If you lose connection, it will probably count as a disconnect and you will lose those coins. So if you are farming, basically what it means is you better be in an area with a good connection. You better not disconnect for any reason, and longer matches have more inherent risk. So today, now that we've gotten through all of that information about it, I present to you the strategy section of this video, which is basically what we're going to call the loser meta. And for class match, it might be different. The rules might be a little bit different. There might be bonus coins. We don't know yet. But for the intended purpose of this, as far as I can tell, winning and losing has no bearing on the number of coins you get per day. So rather than having long drawn out matches of essentially trying to try hard, which is incredibly frustrating because the players who are playing this are really, really high tier most of the time from my experience, which means that you're probably going to lose a bunch. So running into disconnects and losing over a long period of time is really ineffective and frustrating. There isn't really more fun to be had if you're just doing the auto idea in this part of the game and still losing and having to run the application longer, using more battery life, using more energy, everything like that. So what I did was I talked with someone else out there and we came up with essentially a faster way to lose. The fastest way, essentially picking a unit with incredibly high agility, high mobility, and very low HP. So that's Kitane right here. What we have set her up with is almost essentially nothing, as a matter of fact, because that's what we want. We want her to have almost nothing. And the one thing right now that I will say is that I do have HP Trust Stones on her. Those will be out of here in a second. But essentially, at 128 speed and 5 move and 4 jump, with very little to do and no partners, you'll be losing incredibly quickly. All you need is essentially 2 speed VCs, fastest speed Esper you have, and any Trust Mastery. It doesn't really matter. You could, in theory, also disable all of her skills and everything like that if you really want. But what we are essentially looking for here in regular, if you want to get Fire Veritas, if you upgrade him, if you want it to be the least cumbersome potentially possible outside of class match sections, then guess what? The losers meta is particularly it. And as just in terms of who you can throw in there, any high speed unit. I'm choosing Kitane just because it's one that I have at 120 and a character that I'm not overly fond of. The other suggestion of someone in my guild was Farm, because Farm is another fast, incredibly high mobility unit who can potentially get over there and get smashed relatively. The other character, I'm not even sure if he does have super high mobility. Just thinking to myself, does he have actually? God, I don't even know if he has a passive. something I can edit in, right? Either way, any high agility ninja type unit you can essentially put in here. Just have one of them. Throw speed trust mastery runes with a TMR. Doesn't even matter necessarily what TMR, but a TMR that has more agility on it will essentially be better. So just off the top of my head, I think even something like this. And we're putting it on 128 speed, which is fast enough for her to essentially get over there. Evasion, whatnot, I mean, you can tweak this to be essentially how you want it, but the faster you die, the better it actually is for most people, since most people aren't going to want to try hard to win, since most of the benefits here aren't super that great anyway. So yeah, if we find out anything different for class match, when that actually takes place, I will update this information. But for Globalers, you have a bit of a strategy presented to you. The loser's meta, the fastest way to lose, fastest way to farm, fastest way to not spend a truckload of time in the game, since disconnects are just so punny. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any extra information, please add it below, and I'll take a look at that when I can. Later.